All right, let's take a look at this problem where we have an equation, right? And it's actually a formula. And so we have to find F when C is 50. This is the formula for Fahrenheit and Celsius, the temperatures in degrees, depending on the way that you measure it. And so we're going to find a Fahrenheit temperature when the Celsius temperature is 50. So when it's 50 degrees Celsius, what is it in Fahrenheit? And so this involves, it's just pretty straightforward where we're going to take the function f equals 9/5 c plus 32, and we're simply going to substitute, right? We're going to replace the value that they're giving us with 50 for Celsius. So we would just change the C to 50. And remember that that is multiplied because there's no symbol in between the 9/5 and the C. And so that just means we're multiplying there. All right. So if you're multiplying a fraction, let's think about that. You can think of it as 50 over 1 if that helps you to see that, anytime you have a number on the top and the bottom that you can divide by the same thing, then you can always do that. Like 50 and 5 will both divide by 5. 50 divided by 5 is 10, and 5 divided by 5 is 1. And then you can multiply across the top. 9 times 10 is 90. 1 times 1 is 1. 90 divided by 1 is just 90. So this is 90 plus 32. And so the Fahrenheit temperature is 90 plus 32. What's that? 122 degrees. Okay, so 50 degrees Celsius is very hot. 122 degrees. Oh, if we're talking about an outside temperature, that's unbearable, right? It's all relative though. If you're talking about cooking something, 122 degrees, you're going to cook it for days and days and days because it's never going to get hot enough to cook something adequately for most things anyway. All right. Enough of that. I will stop there. If that's all you needed to do and that answered your question, then let's leave it at that. I'm going to continue. If you need to see more of like a literal function where we're having to do something else, like, well, what if f is 50 and we have to find what c is? Okay, so let's do that. So stick around if you need to see that. We're going to use the same formula, and there's a couple of ways to do this. F equals 9/5 c plus 32. One is to solve the formula for c. Instead of, like, right now it's solved for F. If we want to solve it for C, then we can just plug in the 50 like we did last time, but we'll plug it in for F and it will give us our answer. Or we can plug in for F and solve for C as is. You have two options. If you're in Algebra 1 and you're doing literal equations, it's likely that you're expected to solve for C first and then plug in to get the value. So let me show you how that works. So in other words, I want this not function, but formula to be written as C equals, so that then I can just plug in the 50 and get my answer. Right now it's solved for F. So if I want this to equal C, I should start by subtracting 32 from both sides. So Fahrenheit minus 32 because 9/5 C. I'd multiply everything by 5 so that I get rid of, I'm going to put it in the front, so that I get rid of this fraction. That's what I would do next. So 5 times F is 5F, and 5 times negative 32, 10, negative 160, and then equals 5 times 9/5. Remember that we can cancel those divide to equal 1. That just leaves us 9/1, which is 9. So 9C, and then we would divide by 9. So C equals, It's running into itself there. So our formula is C equals 5F minus 160 over 9. Okay, we can use that and plug into Fahrenheit. Fahrenheit was 50. And we get 250, 5 times 50 minus 160 over 9. 250 minus 160 is 90. Does this come out nice and clean and give us 10 degrees Celsius? No way. Did I subtract? There's it. 250 minus 160. It's always good to check yourself. That is 90. Okay, cool. I obviously had not worked this out ahead of time, so that works out nicely. All right, so if it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, then it is 10 degrees Celsius. If it's 50 degrees Celsius, it's 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, we'll leave it at that. It's plenty long right here. If you need more help with that, send me a message, let me know.